Hello, I'm Tessa Click, and this is the Morning Muse. Today we're continuing our series on goal setting with the motivation behind the goals we are setting. Set a goal that makes you want to jump out of bed in the morning. This is a great quote to start with. You have to wake up excited. In fact, if there's something like a picture or something that you can put on your wall, so it's the first thing that you see when you wake up to remind yourself of the goal that you're working on, your main primary goal. I have a picture of a girl standing in front of the Eiffel Tower. Several times when I wake up and I think about that, hey, that would be nice to go and see that. If you can imagine it, you can achieve it. If you can dream it, you can become it. When you're talking about creating a book, that is a fantastic quote, because I can imagine a lot of stuff that I cannot in reality ever achieve, but I can put it in a book. But when we're talking about setting goals, we're talking about staying in reality. So I think it's good to make a list of things that you might want to do in the next year or the next period of time, whatever that time is, and let your imagination run wild on that. But when it comes to picking the 1 to 4 goals that you really want to focus on for a short period of time, they need to be SMART goals, and they need to be specific, and they need to be goals that are achievable in reality. So yes, let your imagination run wild, but don't expect that just because you can do that you're going to achieve it and become it, because that's bullshit. Imagine, but be real. The purpose of life is to live a life of purpose. People spend lots of money and time and read lots of books trying to decide what their purpose is. The purpose of life is to enjoy living life. And I'm not saying enjoy it as in self-gratification, just fun. It's like live a life that you're proud of, live a life that you enjoy. And you should be able to do that without really knowing what your purpose is. I mean, literally, for some people, their purpose is to raise their kids to be well-adjusted, successful adults. And there's nothing wrong with that, except for that it's not about you. It's about them. And when those kids leave, that's when you get those midlife crises and empty nest syndromes, and, you have to learn how to reinvest in yourself. What the meaning of my life is, it's living a life that I enjoy living a life that makes me want to wake up the next day and do the next thing on the plan, and feeling good about it at the end of the day. What that entails, I mean, that's where your goal setting, your plans and action steps come in. This is age-old debate. Is there purpose to life? I mean, some people don't live it with purpose. They're born and they live life depending on what happens to them, and then other people are like, no, I'm going to make the life that I want to live. I'm going to create the life. Yes, there's things that's going to happen to me, but I will master how I respond to those things. I'm in control of my body and my thoughts, my mind, and my spirituality. I'm kind of leaning towards the purpose of life is to have that self-control so that you enjoy living the life that you want to live. So our next goal is, decisions are the hardest thing to make, especially when it comes down to where you should be and where you want to be. Where you should be and where you want to be should be the same thing. And if it's not, you need to go back and reevaluate what your true goal is. Because if I set the goal of I want to climb that mountain out there, but because I have an autoimmune disease, which I do, that's not a feasible goal for me anymore. So if I go back into what am I trying to achieve by that desire to climb that mountain out there, I might find, hey, I want to be a little bit more active. So, okay, I can't climb that mountain, but what if I go walk along the base of it? And from there, you have to really figure out what the true motivation of your goal is. And that should put where you want to be and where you should be in line with each other. So if you do find yourself having that conflict of, I'm pursuing this goal, but it's not really where I want to be, I'm not really excited about doing it, go back and look at the motivation and get it in line with the goal that you've set for yourself. Get it in line with what you truly desire. If you're having trouble making a decision, you're making it too soon. There's another saying out there that goes something to the effect of not making a decision is making a decision. And I kind of agree more with that. So sometimes if you're struggling between a decision and it's not urgent, you have that time to wait and evaluate it longer. So it's wise, if you're having trouble making a decision and you got time to wait, to hold back and think about it some more and not make the decision too soon. But if you have to make a decision right then and there, not making a decision is making a decision. So delve in and pick one and live with the choices. As far as this quote, if you're having trouble making a decision, you're making it too soon. If you have the ability to not make it at that point in time and you're not sure which way to go, then don't make it. But if it's something that is going to be detrimental, if the decision is not made, you have to pick a side and make the decision. So sometimes you can remedy the decision you made a little bit, but sometimes you can't. And all you can do when that happens is to stick to your guns. You made the best decision that you could at the time with the knowledge that you had. Be proud of it. All right, and we are going to finish this off with a doozy. I read this, I couldn't believe I was reading it. If you wake up without goals, go back to sleep. I'm like, really, dude? This is your motivational speech? If you wake up without goals, go back to sleep? Everyone's born pretty much without goals. Does that mean we're supposed to sleep all the time? You have to grow up. I mean, you have to develop the maturity to set those goals. And just being grown doesn't really give you that. You have to experience things. And you have to try. And you have to fail. And you have to get stronger from that failure. So if you wake up and you find yourself not having goals, that's time to go dig into why you're feeling lethargic and what can you do about it. That's the time to dig into the goal setting process. And it doesn't start with saying, I want to climb a mountain. It sets with, why do I want to climb that mountain? It doesn't start with, I want to lose 100 pounds. It starts with, why do you want to lose 100 pounds? And really delving into who you are and why you want to change. What are you wanting to change and why do you want to change it? And what are the benefits you will reap? And what are the beliefs that you got already that are going to create obstacles? I mean, it takes a lot of thinking power to really set your goals. It also takes a little bit of action. You have to try different things. You might say, I want to become a black belt, but until you've taken classes, why would you ever want to set that goal? So I want to take martial arts for 6 months and see if I like it. That's a good goal. But to come in and say, I'm going to be a black belt, you're kind of going a little too far. And I'm referring to that because I used to teach martial arts. And when I started, I put my son in it first, and I got tired of watching him have all the fun, and I was like, I need some exercise. So my purpose was just to get some exercise. And it took about 6 months for it to really sink in and become my passion. And until you're feeling that passion, it really shouldn't become that serious of a goal. The real goal is, I want to have more energy, or I want to feel better, and I want to try something new, or I want to learn to defend myself. And I do think every woman out there should know how to defend herself. Okay, soapbox there. So if you wake up without goals, don't go back to sleep. Go get energized, get your head straight, and really think about what are the changes you're wanting to make in your life. So that's it today for our goal setting motivation behind the goal.